out the door. Who's to say which one's worse? Just as matters, we'll hit up the liquor store. Oh, the liquor store. Everybody needs someone to make them crazy, roll right straight for the hills. Someone to love.
How does your background in New York inform you as a director, if at all, or your choices that you made on this movie, even though it's an LA film?
I guess the comparison to being in New York is when I started directing here, rap video was exploding, and we had such minimal stuff, and then I went off into Los Angeles and would do commercial work, and we would have infinite budgets, like our whole film budget for one day to do a job with. So what would be returning to the New York policy is we had, you know, some days were $700 a days, and everyone was down to work really hard, and it was the minimalism, and it was focusing on our locations. We used our houses and our cars, and our friends helped us with locations. So it was a returning to more just guttural tools. And that reminds me very much of New York production. When we used to do rap videos here, we would shoot on 42nd Street and pull like Cypress Hill out of a van and go up and down, and we'd write on a piece of foam core, "If you're here, you're in the video," and that was our release. And the cops, they didn't even know what to do. They would start blocking because they didn't know, you know, what was going on. They were just like started helping block crowds. It's changed. She came in and it was you knew that was her. I felt like I was looking at Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it was like, oh, there's no other way to go with the role.
What did you just say? Again. Oh, wow.
And it worked. It was easy to see. And I looked at Scott, and I think he felt the same way.
The lead is Scott Kahn,
Right.
and I
that was
play.
interesting. There was,
He has
I
two
always
friends,
wanted Jimmy.
and you can think of us as like
It was always
an angel and a devil, and I'm more the devil that sits on his shoulder.
Any advice for young filmmakers starting out?
I'd say in today's new world with like 7Ds and all this crazy shit, just make them. Just make film, you know? Experiment radically. Because you have so much stuff.
Do you think maybe even putting it on the internet is the way to go, or definitely festivals? And say you don't get into festivals.
I think all of it. I think any way you could see it, you know, whatever your thing is. I don't think there's like some sort of way. But I think, you know, one of my friends makes films, he's a new filmmaker, and he kind of puts them up on the internet, and then he gets a feeling from all his friends, and he does changes. It's really, you know, there's no real set plan. The big screen's always going to be the big screen, which is, you know, I really want to be on the big screen and hope it stays.
Was there ever a point in your career where you thought you'd give up, but now you're successful?
Wow, I think I'm going to give up every day. I don't know, I guess just keep at it, you know, it's, you got to, I guess, try to find the fun in it sometimes, you know. It's weird because when you're on set and you're doing stuff, it's a lot more fun than when you're looking for work, you know. So I got pretty lucky that I can live in New York and still have a living, you know. So I don't know, I guess just keep at it.
The industry takes a lot of tenacity, and it takes a good attitude, and it takes intention in what you want and where you want to go, and how you're going to do it.
I think they did.
Mercy is a good example of a film that made it with authorship intact, with its initial vision intact. You hear so many people saying, "Oh, I wish the '70s type films were back," and films that, you know, that really go deeper beneath the surface and have a sort of an independent mind, and we successfully did that with Mercy. So it's important for people to go out and see this movie, so that people will invest in smaller independent cinema.
It's a film that takes place during the pressure cooker of opening night, in which an upcoming Japanese playwright is struggling with his famous but aging actor father for control of the play and their relationships. It's an all-Japanese film. We're totally excited to be in the festival. It's great company. We love the other shorts, and we're looking forward to seeing Mercy. This particular film was half student film until we got a Japanese star attached. He's the equivalent of Donald Sutherland. And he came over and he was hanging out in our studio at Columbia, the little warehouse known as Prentice Studios, which is also where the Manhattan Project took place. And it was a chaotic shoot, but it translated into a good film because it takes place in a chaotic theater company, so it's unlike anything you've ever seen, and I hope you enjoy it. I think the biggest challenge in making the short was precisely dealing with, we had these A-list Japanese actors, but we had a student film entourage, so there were times that we didn't have the set quite ready and the walls were falling down and we were trying to delay their arrival on set. My producer was taking them to Whole Foods and trying to distract them with fun things in the morning to hide the fact that it was actually kind of a low-rent production. So the challenge was making it look like a kinetic Hollywood melodrama, which is what we wanted with a shoestring budget.
I'm a big Boondock Saints fan, and I was wondering could you describe it to someone who hasn't heard of it that you think might enjoy it?
Wow, it's about Boondock Saints is about two brothers who sort of get the calling from a higher power to wipe out the bad people in South Boston. And through a series of events and some crazy dreams and stuff like that, they're not professional killers. They sort of barely make it out by the skin of their teeth, but they're just like normal guys that just sort of end up in these extraordinary circumstances. But the first one we did, it sort of got blacklisted because of the Columbine shooting, and we have trench coats and shotguns and stuff like that, and it became such a cult phenomenon just from the DVD being passed around and people talking about it, that we made a second one just based on that. And the second one, I just found out, is the #1 DVD Blu-ray in the world. So yeah, I feel good for Troy Duffy, the director, because it's his baby, and he really got sort of the blunt end of the stick, with the backlash from the first one, and it's one of those controversial films that it's a fun ride. I'd make 10 of them. They're a blast.
You think another one would be coming?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Hopefully before I'm too old to remember the prayer and so forth.
Wonderwall.com question of the day is, what are some of your favorite films that you've seen at a film festival?
My favorite film I've seen at a festival would be Prophet.
I will mention a film I saw in Genoa, which was Patrol, which was John Ford's film. I met him at the brunch, and I thought it was a totally impressive movie, extremely moving, extremely well written. It was great.
For those of you who are not familiar with GenArt, we're an arts and entertainment organization dedicated to showcasing emerging talent in film, fashion, music, and visual arts. We have offices in Chicago, San Francisco, LA, New York, and Miami.
It was kind of weird for me to come on set because they were all so close and so friendly, and I was like the other one, although they made me obviously so comfortable. But for some reason the dialogue just flowed for me. I mean, I think when those parts come along that it's just kind of you, and for some reason the dialogue just flowed, and we just had this immediate banter. The chemistry was like there immediately, and I think from then on it was just kind of, it was just there. It was really organic, which seems a really pretentious thing to say, but it was just there. Enjoyable from the beginning to end.
You just sort of show up on set and go, Troy, there's your wife, there's your husband, sit down, you hold hands, and that was it. Then we got divorced.
Can you talk about how you decided you wanted to make this film, or whether you thought about directing film before?
Yeah, I've wanted to direct a film since I was probably 15 years old, and Scott had always known that I grew up socially with 3 really big filmmakers, and he was always like, you gotta go, and I had a couple of films come into development and then fall apart, so I had a broken heart, and I went into commercial photography to try to save up enough money to make a film without needing anyone to pay for it. And ironically, I was with Scott in Costa Rica, and he was getting more and more aggressive about, you just gotta stop that, you gotta do something. And this was that film.
So you gotta tell your friends. Tweet it or whatever. Sext it.
So what do you think of the feature film?
Feature film, I really liked it actually. I'm a big fan of independent film. What they had to go through to have this film funded and made, and the trials and tribulations they went through, and just seeing it come full circle here in the festival. I mean, my hat's off to them.
I thought the feature was really good. I didn't really know what to expect going in, but I thought it was definitely a very good feature that like drew everybody in, and the storyline was not what I expected. It wasn't. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but very, very emotionally affecting. I thought, for me specifically.
What do you think of the short?
The short was incredible. It was like really visual. They were really good at like blending visuals, music, storyline. It was really good. It was a beautiful, beautiful film. Definitely a strong storyline. I thought it was a very good short. Really powerful.
It's decent. My name is DavidJr.com.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 15th annual John Art Film Festival closing night.